telling you, whenever we lived with her dad, I used to pull her by the hair.
I'm so proud to be your mom.
Past, have you taken a situation and used it for views regarding the kids?
You said send the galaxy to know about my baby girl's health when I was in the hospital.
Automatically calls the front desk to the Ritz-Carlton and just books an extra night, books an extra 2 nights. I don't even know how many nights she stayed, and then texts me to pay for it.
Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Livia Rose and today I'll be talking about the infamous Ash Trevino. So Ash has haunted my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, and so by today's video I hope that I'll be releasing some of that negative energy by the end of it. You can call it a little Ash Trevino exorcism. So who is she? How'd she gain relevancy? And why does TikTok seem to hate her? Today I'll be explaining all of it, and yeah. So grab a snack, grab a drink. I doubt you'll be able to relax with her face staring at you throughout a portion of this video. So let's just sit down and talk about her. So Ash Trevino rose to TikTok prominency through TikTok Live, to be exact, where she indulged in alcohol and got intoxicated on camera, showed her inability to speak Spanish.
Vale más que te pasivas. Vale más que te pasivas, eh?
Don't be trying to act all Spanish.
Vale más que te pasivas, eh?
And also generally showcased how shit of a person and especially how shit of a mother she truly is by admitting to abuse of her daughters and generally showcasing her abuse.
Haley literally has been through like the bottom of her life. Like, I'm telling you, whenever we lived with her dad, I used to pull her by the hair because I was so mad at her.
So before her rise on TikTok, Ash had an actually normal job. She worked as a secretary in a dental office in Texas. But all that came crashing down when during a live stream, her clothing shifted and she let her nip slip, which people quickly started memeing on TikTok and sharing that video around. And it also promptly reached her boss, who by the end of it sacked her.
I got fired.
Fired?
Yes.
For what?
The trolls from TikTok literally sent my owner a video of me showing my nip. Yes.
Now with this harsh reality in front of her, she didn't know what to do. Where can she get her money? Well, a woman reached out to her inviting Ash to TikTok battles, which TikTok battles are a concept where 2 or more TikTokers get into a battle where it's basically an incentive for their fans to send them money, because whoever gets the most coins or other things that you can send through TikTok which cost real money, well, that person wins. So those TikTok battles paid her so well that she got $12,000 in 2 hours worth of a live stream. Yet her career has snowballed ever since it started, with situations like her crying on live stream.
Oh my god, no! Oh.
And generally showing what shit person she is, defending criminals, admitting to dating criminals, which I will get into right now. So a big part of Ash's career is her talking about her tumultuous love life, where she romanced and got into relationships and even married men from prison and brought them into her home with her 2 very young daughters. Now additionally, during a live stream, Ash has sympathized with a murderer, saying that, well, maybe if he was in a better headspace then he wouldn't have killed people.
He literally unalived his wife.
Okay, well, it's not my fault. Act like it's my fault. Maybe if he was happy, he wouldn't have.
So Ash has actually had 2 marriages, and as of me filming this, is still, I think, married to a man from prison. And her daughters also say that these men treat them wrongly and treat them basically with no human decency, no respect, as showcased in this clip.
That's nice. That's just common decency.
No, because most people really.
Who has your mother dated? So you've dated disrespectful men, like, and they know.
So he called from prison, and literally, no, like she answered, and one of them answered, and they sounded just like me, and he was like, "Where's your mom?" And they were like, "Oh, hold on, she's coming." And so when I was coming to the phone, I was like, "Hey, hello," and he's like, "Don't be letting them answer the phone like that no more." Like, rude.
And I reiterate, she lets herself and lets her daughters be treated with disrespect by men who are prisoners. They are inmates. They are criminals. Now, I think the weirdest part of her love life is Santos, who, if you don't know who Santos is, he is a 19-year-old. While she, I reiterate, is 36 years of age. So she is actually closer to hitting 40 than he is able to buy a beer in the USA, which is a hyperbole, but still has some truth to it. So the both of them did live streams together, basically engaging in raunchy conversations, very sexual conversations, kind of alluding to the fact that they were together and that they were doing something.
I've already seen his BB. I told you that. And he's already seen my nunu.
I'm jealous because Santo's gonna have me like this.
Yes.
Most of those conversations also happened in front of her children, who are, I think, 13 and 15 or 16, something like that, which is very young. Also, generally, I don't think mothers should talk about these kind of explicit themes that she was talking about in her live streams in front of her children. So these conversations aren't very informative. They're just basically raunchy and boasting that she, as a 36-year-old woman, can have a younger man interested in her. Generally, the way she goes about her romantic life is very disturbing, I'd say, because you can tell that during conversations where she gets very explicit, her daughters are very embarrassed and very uncomfortable by the whole prospect of it. You can see that they kind of keep their eyes averted, their gaze averted. I would be uncomfortable too if my mom went out on a podcast or on a live stream and started saying that kind of stuff. Now, on Camilla's podcast, she also mentioned a fling, I guess, she had, who was called Max. Now, Max was a young guy again, and he started as a commenter and kind of a gifter on her live streams, and then she started kind of reaching out to him, or he reaching out to her. Basically, they started talking, and they weren't in a relationship, but still they were talking about getting married in Miami, which they haven't met, and they were talking about marriage. And also, you can see during the clip where she talks about that, her daughters are kind of laughing at her, because who wouldn't be? That is just peak delusion.
We haven't met, but we're actually planning a time for me to...
You haven't met?
No, only online. Like, we FaceTime. Yes, we FaceTime.
You know, she said she plans on marrying you in Miami.
We already discussed it.
You've already discussed this.
Yes, we're having Dean Jr.
What's wild as well is her talking about wanting to get married to this guy, while she also admitted to still being married to a prison inmate at the current time of events. So I'm not quite sure how she wanted that situation to pan out. And ultimately, the relationship ended with Max taking to TikTok and kind of clarifying everything, which he clarified everything by saying that he didn't want the publicity of it all, and he kind of didn't want to be brought into the limelight, which she ultimately did. And he just said that he got too uncomfortable with the whole prospect of it.
No, I was not using her for clout or money. I did like her. I originally spoke to her, wanted to keep everything offline. I didn't want to be involved online.
Now let's get into the worst theme of all, which is her mistreatment and abuse of her daughters. Now, Ash keeps saying that she is a good mom and that everyone paints her in a bad light and just wants her to be a villain, but that sort of doesn't match up with the videos of her admitting to her abuse. Beginning with the fact that her daughters don't even have beds at her place, admitting that on Camilla's podcast.
Question. Do you have beds?
Well, I don't live with my mom.
But at your mom's house?
No.
So Ash tried to keep defending herself by saying that her daughters don't stay over enough to have their own beds at her place.
They're, like she said, she doesn't stay with me. I'm about to move.
Which is crazy because that kind of goes against the fact that she said that she is a very active parent in her children's life.
So honestly, I've raised my kids since they were born. Never left their side. Till this day, still have not left this side.
Which are you if your children don't have beds at your place? She also said that they don't have them because one day she wanted to give her mother her card and wanted her mother to pick out beds for them, but ultimately that didn't pan out, which is lazy to me because she often goes out and goes to buy lavish gifts for herself, like buying purses and buying this and buying that, and you have all the time in the world to get yourself luxury items, but you don't have the time to buy your daughters beds. To that comment of her daughters, Camilla tries to intervene and say that she will get them beds herself, that she will buy them whatever they may pick out.
I'm going to Zelle you. I'm going to give you money for, I want a bed, 2 mattresses, 2 of them. I want a headboard and 2 nightstands. I'm going to order that before you leave this house today.
Which is crazy to me because that shouldn't be her job. It should be Ash's job, who gets more than enough money to cover the costs. Like, imagine boasting about buying designer bags and having even a security guy, which I doubt she truly needs, but hey. So imagine boasting about that but not having decency, because it's the least you can do for your children, to have a roof over their head and a bed to sleep in. And then bringing back Max. So they called him on the podcast and Camilla asked him why he hasn't bought the children beds if he's such a high gifter.
You haven't even met her children yet, who, by the way, don't have bedside tables and or beds. And you're her top gifter, so I think you should probably buy her kids, probably take her kids on a shopping spree or something.
Well, that's the thing. Once we're married, we could do that. I know, Camilla, I thought you could do it.
I'll take on that role, but...
Okay, we'll take on until I get there in Miami.
Which he throws back at Camilla that he thought she would buy them beds, which are both crazy takes because it shouldn't be either of their jobs to buy Ash's kids beds. That should be Ash's job, not the one of Camilla, who is a random influencer, and not the job of Max, who is not affiliated with her kids or with Ash in any way. Like, they weren't in a relationship, so why should he buy her kids beds? So there's also an over-reliance in Ash using her own parents to parent her daughters, so they spend more of their time at their grandparents' house and they feel more comfortable with them than they do with her, which I understand because some of the clips are so truly so sad with, for example, Ash using her daughters as incentive to get money. When her daughter was in the hospital, well, she used that fact to get galaxies, which are worth, I don't think they're worth a lot. I don't know. I think they're either $15 or $50, which that isn't enough money there shouldn't be enough money in this world to sell out your daughter's information on how she feels, on what's going on with her. And you can see in the clip that her daughter is so sad when she brings that up.
You've taken her when she was sick and you're begging for money. When? You said send the galaxy to know about my baby girl's health when I was in the hospital.
It's devastating to see her daughters not feeling comfortable around her, only getting love basically from her when she's drunk.
I'm so proud to be your mom. You're so beautiful. You make me happy.
Because on other occasions, she's shown how jealous she is of her daughters. She does not care about the consequences of her own actions and the way her actions impact her daughters' lives. So she took her kids out of school because they kept being scrutinized by their peers, and basically people kept laughing at them, which is so sad. They also admitted to recently lacking confidence due to so many eyes looking at them, which is crazy to me, and it's so sad.
And I got like in the cafeteria a lot of stares. And so if I could, I honestly would go back to my old life, to being a nobody to people, because that's when I was more confident, didn't care how I look. And now since I'm publicly, I've cared more about how I look, how I go out.
And Ash keeps saying that it isn't her fault for her kids' struggles, because why would it be her fault, you know?
So you don't feel like any sort of guilt or sadness that they've lost friends because of it, and they've expressed that?
No, because it's not even for that reason, to be honest. I feel like some of their friends are jealous because of the life that they have.
So when her daughters came to her saying that they feel singled out, that they don't feel confident anymore, and that they just don't have any friends at school, and that they keep fighting with their friends at school, what does Ash do? She says that it's basically just girls being girls and being teenagers, which she didn't apologize to them. And you can see how sad her daughters are. They are throughout the most of the video. You can see how polite they are. You can see that they're truly sweet girls. It's ultimately just sad to see young girls that in this age they should be truly loved and should be shown respect and care and, you know, this unwavering support, but the only thing they get is a mother that keeps getting drunk on live and keeps kind of, you know, being unserious about the troubles they face. And it's truly disheartening to see how she keeps treating them, and the fact that she monetizes her relationship with her daughters, and that she kind of, you know, shows her jealousy and the innate anger she has towards them. It's crazy. Now let's get into the fallout after Camilla's podcast. So Ash Trevino, she was invited to Camilla's podcast to kind of talk about her experiences, you know, to talk about the whole TikTok thing, which Ash, you know, agreed to. But now after the podcast, she has taken to live stream saying that Camilla painted her in a bad light, she made her out to be a villain, and that she made her out to be a bad mother. And also Ash said that she was not paid for the podcast and boo-hoo her, when in reality you see Ash was flown out by Camilla, and also she paid for her hotel at the Ritz-Carlton, and she paid for her daughters and her. And now she's going on live and complaining that she hasn't gotten paid, even though, you know what she also did? She overstayed her welcome at the hotel. You know, she called Camilla if she can kind of delay the flight, and then without informing Camilla, she just stayed 2 extra days at the hotel, which, you know, is expensive.
I paid for first class tickets. I paid for her to stay at the Ritz-Carlton. She extended the flight to wherever, I don't know when the hell she stayed till, and then automatically calls the front desk to the Ritz-Carlton and just books an extra night, books an extra 2 nights. I don't even know how many nights she stayed, and then texts me to pay for it.
And she had just no shame, no nothing, just stayed an extra 2 nights and basically said, fuck you to Camilla, I'm staying longer. Now, not too long ago, Camilla released another podcast episode, this time with Santos, who was affiliated with Ash for a while. And during the podcast episode where Ash was there, you know, she kept talking about how she did things with Santos 2 times, which she insinuated of doing sexual things with him. And while he was on podcast, he said that it came to nothing and that their relationship was, in his words, strictly professional, and he was her manager. And you know, their relationship was strictly professional, or as professional as you can get with clips like these.
In the mouth. I mean, I seen his.
Those is my papi.
Oh my. Algo se me paró.
And Santos will see everything tonight.
So in conclusion, you can say that Ash's social media presence is very much like a train wreck that you cannot stop watching, and it basically gets worse from one day to another. She keeps showing from day to day that she is an extremely entitled person, that she mistreats her daughters, that she doesn't deserve the platform that she ultimately has, and that she's generally not a good person. I hope you enjoyed this video and Ash Trevino as much as you can enjoy a situation like that, which is ultimately very tragic. So if you stayed up until now, thank you so much. This is my first video, so I hope that it was enjoyable. And generally, I want to focus on talking about topics that interest me and that I find enjoyable. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe down below. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day. You can follow me on Instagram at Livia Rose. You can follow me on TikTok at Moonshines, and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.